All right, hey. So we have a dilemma. I've talked about it before, but we have a choice to make. Let me get this set up. Let me move this out of the way, and let's bring in this. This is not dirt. I had somebody ask me if this was dirt. This is not dirt. This is just cheap desk marks all over the disc. Okay, so we have a choice to make. We have to decide, are we going to keep this iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is not staying on, this iPhone 16 Pro Max, take 3, or the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra? So, I've made a couple videos about these phones. I unboxed both of these phones on camera with the express purpose of watch as I try and struggle with... Wait. I know how to do this. I can do this. There we go. I did it. Turn that up. Much easier method on there, but there we go. It's brighter for you now there. Okay. Yeah, okay. I purchased both of these phones because I needed to replace this phone right here. This is my Galaxy S10e, also known as my sweet angel baby. I've had this thing for a long time and has recorded a lot of videos for me, but it is time for an upgrade. Oh, you might be asking yourself, if these are the phones you have to choose from and this is the only phone you own, what's recording up here? This is my partner's iPhone 13 Pro. I don't know how well it's going to record, so hopefully okay. I've got monitor over here set up, so I'm kind of watching at the same time, make sure it's good. I don't know, I can't tell. If it's not good, I apologize. I'm new to this, so all right. Want to replace the video capabilities of this phone, which is still good, it still works perfectly fine, but I want something better. And I know this is an apples to apples comparison. Like they're technically in the same ballpark. A more apt comparison, I guess, due to most recent things released, would be the Galaxy 25 Ultra versus the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which I was going to get. I thought about getting it, but it's still very new. As of this recording, this is made in November of 2025. So this was the more affordable option. And yeah, so this is my comparison. So I have to choose one. I've had this for about a week. I've had this for 2 days. I was going to make a video of me struggling to use this because I've said in other videos, I am an Android user. I have been all my life. All my life, it's been Android. I've tried to use iPhones, like that. I've tried to use that phone a few times, and it was a struggle every time because the UI is not very user-friendly if you're used to one thing, and I'm sure it's true if you go vice versa. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of each phone as I'm trying to make up my mind. Some insight into my mindset as we are trying to make this decision. And before we begin, I have to make it perfectly known that I am not a tribalist. I am not loyal to one brand over the other. This is just what I know. This is what I've had. But I'm not loyal to Samsung. I'm not loyal to iPhones. I've owned different kinds of Android phones. I've never kept with one brand until this. This is the first time I've had the same brand back to back. So I just want to make that clear. I don't have a predisposition to one brand over another. It's Apple and it's Samsung. Like neither one are paragons of virtue. They're both, kind of when you think about it. So yeah, no loyalty. I'm just looking at these from a purely sterile perspective. What makes the most sense for me? What is this for? I said, so this is for video. I want to record better video. That's why I got both, because, I could have just gotten the S25 Ultra, but it's very much known that iPhones have better video, which I've never used a recent iPhone, so I don't know. I could try that, but it wouldn't be a fair comparison, right? And Galaxy has come a long way, but supposedly not in the same ballpark. There's just lots of things to weigh in, but the entire point of it is I want a better video camera. And due to the nature of the videos that I shoot, I can't just buy a traditional mirrorless camera, or else I'll get a Panasonic GH5 for about the same price and a decent 24mm lens mounted up there and then be good to go. But since most of what I do is reaction video stuff, I need to be able to record the audio from the footage that I'm watching. So if I'm watching like Doctor Who, I need to be able to record the episode of Doctor Who onto the video of the thing I'm recording on, which would be the phone. And I have it set up over there to be able to do that. I can record audio through the interface here, since it's USB-C now. No adapter needed on this anymore, which is fantastic. So, yeah. Long intro aside, that is the entire basis of what we are doing here. All right, so pros and cons to each one. All right, the Apple Pro, from my usage standpoint, from what I need it for. So the pros for me are this. One, on paper, better camera. Better camera. I've watched so many videos, comparison videos and blind test videos, and so many tech channels, hundreds of hours, not even exaggerating, over the last month in making this decision. That's why I decided to get both, because I just couldn't do it from like videos. I had to find out for myself. But on paper, better camera, right? This isn't bad. Something that's important to me is having log flexibility, being able to shoot in log format. Log is that flat video format that you can color grade later. I've never done it before, but I want to learn. The flexibility with log, for me, is very important, particularly with the Blackmagic app, which is running on this phone and the iPad, over here as a monitor. It's amazing. Like what this has been around for a while, but this is all new to me, so it's very just like wow. I'm also, bit older, so this is very crazy technology that your kids have now kind of thing. But log flexibility, Blackmagic Log gives you more flexibility than just the iPhone. Because you can record in log right there, Pro's log, but if the files are massive. But on the Blackmagic app, you have the ability to change that. But when it comes to Android, you can. So much easier that is. Look at that. You can shoot in log format, that flat profile that you would color grade later. But options aren't as good, in my opinion, as far as what you can shoot in, because you can still shoot in various modes, right? But if you want to shoot in 4K 24, you can't. But the other thing you can't do is use the Blackmagic app to record log on an Android, because it's not supported. So I don't have the options on the Galaxy that I do on the iPhone. So that's a plus as far as this goes. Another thing that I like about Apple, another pro, is the ecosystem integration. I said I'm not someone that has a loyalty to one brand or another. I'm not a diehard. I'm not a ride or die for Apple or Samsung, iPhones or Galaxy. But I do have an iPad. I got it this year. It was a gift. And I have a Mac. I've had a Mac since 2012. I've used a Mac. I used to be a professional photographer, and then I transitioned into YouTube. And I very much prefer editing on a Mac. It took me a while to learn. But once I got it, I like it. And I tried to apply that same mindset to the iPhone as well. Because in the times that I've used that phone up there, it never goes well. Within like 15 seconds, I have to hand it back to my partner and be like, can you just make this work? Because it's not very intuitive. We'll get to that. But the ecosystem integration is crazy. AirDrop is just like the most beautiful thing. And it's been around forever. And like the ability to take a bunch of pictures or video, be it in the native app, in the Blackmagic app, whatever, and then just AirDrop them to my Mac is amazing. It's amazing. It is so good. And I know I sound like someone that just came out of a cave and discovered technology, and you're like, duh. But cut me some slack, please. It was new to me, and it's so nice. And something that I don't know for sure, but I've heard that iPhones have better privacy than Android phones do. Not particularly just Galaxy, but in general. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it's what I've heard. Also, if the sound is bad, I apologize. I'm recording from the native in the phone. I don't know how that sounds. It's, like 5-6 years old. It's something that's not really super important right now, but something I discovered in all of my research and going to like Amazon and eBay and watching all the videos and stuff is that iPhones have amazing depreciation value. If you haven't watched the other videos, I paid for both of these phones with my credit card, and I'm going to send one back, so I have to choose one. First, I said that in the beginning. I was just amazed at these depreciating value from what I've seen more than these. So that's something to consider, right? Now let's move over to the Galaxy. The Galaxy. I probably should have done it this way, eh? All right, Galaxy. I'm new to this. I'm not a proper tech channel. But Galaxy Pros, the camera is also very good. I like the camera in ways I prefer it. I have options on here that I don't have on the iPhone. The main ones for me, Pro Video Mode, is fantastic. You can change all these settings. You can change some of the settings in the native app as well. You can change like your exposure and stuff. Granted, I do prefer the older format of the setup, the way they had it before, but it's fine. But then you have Pro Photo Mode, and you can just change so much stuff. I find it so much easier to use. I said on here you can do the exposure, but you can change everything on here. You can do the video stuff over here in Blackmagic, which is fine. I can get used to that. But you can do it natively in the phone, and that's fantastic. And it's always been a big selling point for me. It's just the ease of use. And speaking of, another pro for me, as far as the Galaxy goes, is I'm more familiar with an Android because it's all I've had. So I know how it operates. I find the iPhone sometimes to be clunky. Now, granted, I've only had it for a couple of days, and I've used this a few times over the years. But this is what I'm used to. I can navigate so much easier to where I need to go and what I need to find. And we have awesome buttons like, hey, there's home button. Oh, hey, there's a back button. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Oh, look at the camera, back button. This is great. Go to the gallery. Awesome. Gallery, back button. Yeah, see, I find the ease of use for an Android so much nicer. It's just so much more user-friendly. Well, granted, if this is all you've known, then it's going to be easy for you too. And I imagine the same happens when you go backwards. When you go from an iPhone to an Android, there's that learning curve. Another plus I like is there's more customization. You have more freedom on an Android phone, which isn't as important to me, but I realized it in trying to use this. And there's a lot of barriers here that you might not have on here. You have to use specific things they want you to use. Apple does. But on here, it's like, have fun. You want to install this app? Go ahead. You want to get it from mystery places? Go ahead. That's a no. But then again, as I've heard, this is better on privacy, so it's a trade-off. And there might be comparisons I'm not mentioning because I might not know them. I'm new to this. I'm having to make this decision now because I have to send one of these back in a day and a half. So I have to, this is what this video is for, talking it out to make the decision. But yeah, I just find the quality of life features better. This has 7 years of updates. So if you want to, that's amazing. And the S Pen. The S Pen. This is amazing. This is great. I love this thing. Now, we'll get into it in a sec, but I prefer the S Pen, especially because I do photography and video stuff, and I very much like it for just being able to do a slider. Like if I go into Lightroom and wanted to work on something, I can just so much easier. Like this is so much nicer. But you can buy, a stylus for the iPhone and use it. But this is native, and I think it's such an awesome feature, and something I would definitely miss in having. The option there is nice. This is so nice. Like I know you can use your hand. I understand that you can use your human styluses. You have 10 of them, but it's not the same, mate. This is so nice. It reminds me of back when I was doing photography full time as a professional photographer, and I had a Wacom tablet over here. And that's what it is, pretty much. It's pretty much like a Wacom tablet that you can use. And it's just a big plus for me. is just the S Pen is a massive plus, and I would miss it if it were gone. Oh, something else I forgot to say. Something I forgot to say real quick is I already signed off. Is the keyboard? The keyboards on this are so much better. Why? Why is the number line hidden here? I know if you're used to it, it's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But typing on this is so irritating. Typing on this is so much nicer. Like this is so much snappier. Oh, I like it a lot more. So that's what I want to add. Another pro to the Galaxy. I prefer the, that one over there, the keyboard. Might get used to this one, but this one I typo a lot more because I don't have fat thumbs or anything. I'm pretty short for a guy, so I don't have like the big hands. But it's still just kind of like it's annoying. Yeah. Okay. All right, now iPhone cons. The cons to the iPhone for me personally. Big one is I'm not as familiar with how it works. But for what I've used, I really don't like the UI. I find the UI on Galaxy Androids, but the One UI, I think it's 7.1 now, I think. One UI is great. Just so customizable and all of that, and just so fluid and so easy. But again, it's what I'm used to. I understand that. This feels clunky. Maybe if I were to use this for a month and then do an update video, then I would have a different tune. I don't know. But I find this really, like, some of the choices in here are bizarre. Like, why is there no back button? This is nice. I just learned you can do that. Okay, awesome. Sometimes I'll get app locked. I'll get locked into an app and I'm like, how do I get out of here? What do I do? Do I do this? Do we do this? Which way do I go? Like, you can swipe and that's fine, but not every app is the same. If every app was swipe, this way to exit it, no problem. Let's do that then. But not every app is like that. A universal way to do things. So there's a massive con for me is trying to navigate the user interface as someone who is not natively used to an iPhone. And that is honestly the biggest con to me. Now, it's not something I can't overcome. I completely, realize that. But as of now, being new, it's really difficult. And sometimes it's like, why don't you just work? This just works. When I can figure stuff out here, it's great. But I've had to watch so many videos on how to use this phone, how to do certain settings, how to navigate things, how to make this happen. Like, case in point, back here, this wallpaper, I changed it. The steps it took for me to put a wallpaper on this phone that was not, in the wallpaper app was crazy. You add new wallpaper and then the photos, right? And there's all the photos you took, and these photos are going to be a little in the next video. But I found this photo on Pexels. It was free, and I thought it was cool looking. So I saved it, and then I couldn't find it. It didn't save to my photos. So when I went to add new wallpaper, went to photos, it wasn't there. It's there now, because what I had to do was open the photo on my phone, size it just right, and then take a screenshot. You want to change a wallpaper on your Android, hold down wallpapers and style, and then you just pick like recent videos and download. It's so much easier. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the UI is just like, there's more steps to do everything on here than here, and it's a little annoying sometimes. It's very much like, why don't you just work when this just works? But again, as I said, this is what you're used to. That's what you know. For me, it's not. And then a minor con for me is there's no S Pen. There's no S Pen. And I like the S Pen. It's nice. It's nice to have. It's not a deal breaker, but it's nice. Another con from my experience is that this isn't 100% true. This is just from my experience. iPhones seem to be way more fragile than Androids. This This has a crack across the screen here. I'm pretty sure it's a crack in the screen protector. I haven't bothered to check. I don't have another one to put on here. I really don't care. It gives it character. But this is an S10e, right? And this happened like a year ago. And I've dropped them. And they used to have an Autobox case on it, and I had to get a cheap case because the Autobox one cracked too. That just shows how much damage it could take and still be good. The iPhone, it feels like if you blow on it too hard, the screen will crack. The phone I'm recording on at this moment has a crack over here. Every iPhone I've ever seen has a crack on it. They seem to be super fragile. And that's worrisome. Like, I have an Autobox case on here now, but I've ordered a new one because the Autobox case has this big thing here for the stupid camera control button, which I don't like at all. And when you're trying to hold the case, your finger just slides in, and the phone itself is right there. It is exposed. Look at that. Like, you've dropped this, that's going to crack. And that's not the phone's fault. It's not a con for the phone. It's just, I don't understand why Autobox did this. Because you look at their case design for the 17 Pro Max, and this is covered up. You can cover it up. This is stupid. This just, yeah. So for the first time ever on a phone, I've had to order a case that's not an Autobox. Usually not in the brand loyalty, but you know what? Autobox has served me well. And those are the only cons, really. The major one being just, I don't like the UI. I find it very cumbersome, and it's not as intuitive and user friendly as this. Everything else is, being fragile. That's, And no S Pen. That's just, frivolous. I understand that, but yeah. All right, cons. Cons for the Galaxy. I like the camera a lot, but one thing Galaxies are known for is over sharpening images. The zoom is great. I don't think you need 100 times zoom. What's the point of it if it's going to make it look like, a blurry Rembrandt painting? But, it's nice to have, I guess, as an option. I really don't need it. Galaxy phones use post-processing and AI sharpening way too much. It might look good like on a small screen, but if you view it on a bigger screen, it just doesn't look as good. Another thing that I don't like in particular in comparing the 25 Ultra specifically, not just an Android phone, is that the 25 Ultra really isn't that big of a bump up from the 24. The specs are okay, it's faster for sure, but it's not like significantly better. And I think that's really kind of indicative of the fact that maybe we don't need a new phone released every year. Every couple years? Yeah, because then the specs could be better, it would feel more important. This just feels like, we're in hyper capitalism now and bleed everyone dry. And people are going to buy them, they do. But I think the last couple of years and once the upgrades for each have been so minimal, I just don't like that. It's not a significant upgrade to me. And the files are so much more of a pain in the ass to get off of an Android when you have a Mac. If I had a Windows system, which I have a PC downstairs, it's a gaming PC, it's got Linux on it. That's all I use it for is gaming. Used to have Windows 10, but then they, Windows 11 stuff, and I was like, nah, I'm going to Linux now. But, back on point. Like, I do a lot of file transfer between photos and videos and, recording things for YouTube or getting things ready for Photoshop and whatnot, for thumbnails and stuff. I do a lot of stuff on here. So this has been the thing I've recorded on and taken pictures with for the entirety of my YouTube channels. And to get things off of here, I have to, well, I don't have to, this is what I've been doing. I will have to take this cord, plug it in, hope that it works with the Android thing on Mac. 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. So I have to unplug it, plug it back in, hope it works. Sometimes it doesn't. So I have to unplug it, plug it back in, do the same thing, go to transfer, then the box will pop up, and then you drag the files and you put them over onto the Mac over there. Kind of annoying, where over here, it's select file, airdrop, boom, shows up. That's just, as someone who has dealt with this for years and years and years, this is just heavenly. This is so nice. It's the same thing with this. There is quick share, and I'm sure that would work nicely if I had a PC. I'm sure it's all about the ecosystem you're in, right? And I think that's what's been very eye-opening to me is, having the iPad, having the Mac. Obviously, they're all the same brand, so they're going to work well together. If I had all Windows things, it would be, the opposite. But I just so happen to have, Apple-based products, which wasn't, by design. It's just how it happened. I was both. I was like an Apple guy and an Android guy at the same time. I don't have loyalty to either one. So it just became an even bigger negative to me in that seeing how easy it could be versus how difficult it could be when you have systems that aren't necessarily compatible with each other natively. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. All right. So those are the pros and the cons for me and what stuck out to me when it pertains to Galaxy versus iPhone. So the big moment of truth, which one did I pick? Which one am I going to pick going forward? And honestly, after having used both for a couple days, I've done video and I have done photos, the important things to me. The UI stuff is irritating, but as said, the most important thing to me are videos and pictures, and I've done both on both. I've done log, I have done pro mode, I've shot camera raw, native app. I've run the gambit, and after all the tests, all of it, I'm going with the Apple, the iPhone. I'm going to keep the iPhone for now. We'll get to that in a sec. Why did I choose the iPhone overall? Because the video quality is so much better. Everything I heard, this is not bad. This is not bad at all. This is an amazing daily driver. This is a really nice phone. I'm not going to lie. This is just so quality. It's fast. It's intuitive. The quality of life it gives you is amazing. It's what I'm used to. Even then, though, the video from the iPhone is better for what I need it for. I'm not saying in general. I'm not saying it would be like that for you if you had the choice. It wasn't like that at first. I struggled trying to get the settings and trying to get them to look good. But then once I started using Blackmagic over here, I'm pointing over here, you can't see me, over here, started messing with settings and then recording test footage on both, the footage I get from an iPhone is miles better than here. And that could be because maybe this just worked out easier for me. I don't know. I'm not saying this is 100% the truth between the brands, just as far as what I needed it for. Like, I shot video and it was like, this is what I wanted. Coming from this. And then as far as photography goes, it's not that much of a difference to me. If I was just going for photography only, it would be a harder decision. Just because I love how everything is set up natively in an Android, in the Galaxy. And it's easy. I don't need to download all these extra apps to get this stuff done. And as far as video goes, I don't need to here either. I want more options as far as log recording, and it was more seamless between the iPhone and the Blackmagic over there. But I've went with the iPhone, and knock on cheap wood that it maintains, that it doesn't break. But that does beg the question: am I going to iPhone only? And I don't know yet, because I still love the way this operates. I can't keep both. I have to send this one back. I'm sending this one back. And it's dirty as hell. I probably should have cleaned it. I'm used to this, yes. I can get used to this, yes. But I like the editing on here more. Like I said, with the S Pen and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this and see how it goes. And then the S26 Ultra is coming out in a couple months from now, right? 2 to 3 months from now. I'm going to see what happens to the price of the 25s and the 24s. Because the bump between 24 and 25 was not that significant. In fact, they nerfed things like the S Pen, which I really didn't like. Absolutely absurd. Like, these brands keep taking things away from us and acting like it's an upgrade. I want a headphone jack back. So yeah, if I can get a 24 for a decent price, that's something affordable after I'm done paying this off, then yeah, I'll probably do that. And that would be my daily driver. This would be just what I recorded on. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe in 2 months I've decided that, you know what, I've gotten used to this. I like this. I can live without an S Pen. I can just buy something off of Amazon or something. And this will be the phone for me from now on. This will be my main phone. Also, another annoying thing that I forgot to mention. SIM cards. If I get an Android phone, I can take my SIM card out of here, it's in here, and just pop it into a phone. Like, after I deconstruct this, I'm going to take the SIM card out of here, pop it back into here. My sweet angel baby. This will be my daily driver for now. Because of this reason. This is an eSIM, and I would have to commit to this being my phone for that to happen. Whereas here, I'm like, you know what? I changed my mind. Back to this. We're good. Send that back. Okay. I can't do that with this. If I want to make this my daily driver, I need to be absolutely sure before I switch over to eSIM. And I don't want to do that yet. But it would feel really, really, really weird having two phones. One just for camera and video purposes, more video purposes, like I was saying. And then one just because I prefer the usage and all the little nifty features it comes with. But that might seem silly, but yeah. So for now, the winner is the iPhone. That's what I'm going to be sticking with. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, the videos will get better. If you watched to the end, thank you very much for watching. I'm not a tech channel. I don't have B-roll. This is just me talking off the top of my head. No script. No, nothing like that. Just, hey, I'm talking here. Just stream of consciousness. And yeah, again, if the video isn't great, I apologize for that. If the audio isn't great, I do apologize. I haven't recorded video like this on the iPhone yet. I'm more familiar with using this. I will absolutely miss this phone. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to miss this phone. I tried so hard to justify keeping both somehow, but I can't. And it's not in the budget to have both. That's why I told myself, just wait until January, February of next year, of 2026, and then see what the lay of the land is, since these kind of depreciate faster, the Galaxy lines do. And if in a year I decide that, you know what, this really isn't working out for me, I can just resell this. Taking that aside, if you had to choose between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the Galaxy S25 Ultra, what would you pick? What would you pick? Well, granted, your reasonings won't be the same as mine, obviously. It's going to differ from person to person. If it was just for a daily driver, I would absolutely keep this. This is just so much fun to use. As I've said many, many times, it's just because it's what I'm used to. Maybe it's also because I didn't really click as quickly with this one as I did with this one. That could also be a possibility. I'm owning up to that. But this just hit better, and I have way more log options. I've never used DaVinci. I've never had to color grade, but I want to learn. And in watching the videos on log, this log was so much better than this. Maybe they'll get there. We'll see how it goes. But for now, iPhone 16 Pro Max is where I'm going to go. What do you think of my decision and my reasoning behind it? And I'll keep you updated in the future about how this performs. Hopefully you've seen it in videos, either here or on my other channels. And also what happens in the beginning of the year, the early part of next year, with this. Do I go with this again? If does it drop in price? Does the S24 drop even more? With minimal upgrades to the 25 and more S Pen functionality, which is important to me. We'll see. And that is that. That's it, yeah. That's all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one, which will probably be oriented to this because I want to do one more video with these things while I still have this. And yeah. So until that time, I'll see you in the next one.